Wow, this one was really surprising to me. So at the last second, Arsenal hijacked the deal and they end up getting Eze over Spurs. Crazy. I really wasn't expecting this. And I actually really liked this move for Spurs. I thought this guy going to Spurs, with how Spurs started the season, with how they did look against PSG in moments, I feel like if you're a Spurs fan today, this one is ultimately gutting. And it's not just because Arsenal come in and steal the deal. It's because I think this dude could have really benefited Spurs. I really do. Watching the start of the season for Spurs, with how Kudus and Sarr are looking, with Richarlison's finishes, knowing that, wow, you could get a player as like Eze into that team. And Eze, man, it just feels like he would fit in that team. And they lose him. So Spurs are reportedly going to offer him 55 mil plus 5 mil in add-ons. And then even Eze went to Palace. He told Palace, hey, I'm ready to go to Spurs. No, 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 no. No, 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 no. No, no, no. Arsenal come in last night. Now there's a verbal agreement. 3 days after that Spurs rumor and all the news, Palace to receive package in excess of, like, it looks like at least 67, 68 mil for him. And here, this is what Fabrizio said. Eze preferred Arsenal over Spurs. So it looks like Eze had a decision to make. And at the end of the decision, he decided over Spurs to go to Arsenal. Now, I don't know if you can fault him. I think the Spurs project is an interesting project of less pressure and more of a rebuild. They're exciting. They look like they're heading in the right direction. Whereas Arsenal looks like, hey, I'm a footballer. I'm 27. Maybe I'm in the prime of my career, which Eze probably thinks. The team desperately needs attacking players. They have Champions League ball. They're playing in everything. They're even competing for a league title. I want to go to a team that I can win titles at. Now, that's ironic because Arsenal, I know. Before you guys start laughing at me, look, all I'm saying is that Arsenal, out of all the teams, right, or at least out of Spurs, who he was, up against, are a team that are positioned right now to be able to compete for so many titles this season, right? That's all I'm saying. I'm not saying anything against how Spurs won the Europa League and, Arsenal, Arteta still doesn't have, this trophy with all this money he spent. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying maybe Eze felt like, look, I can go here and have a really good chance to win a trophy. I don't know. I can't give you his perspective. Only he knows his perspective. So this reportedly is going to be the third or the second most expensive signing that Arsenal have made. And guys, honestly, what are my opinions on it? Like, Eze has played a lot on the left. He has. He really has. I still think Eze is best at the 10. I do. I think Eze, from watching Eze, I've probably seen him play like 15 games at this point. I mean, in his career, he's played 80 matches out on the left. He's had 18 goals and 12 assists, which is all right. But at the attacking midfield position, he's had 144 games in his career, and he's had 35 goals and 21 assists. I just will always think of Eze as a 10. He's capable, for sure, of playing out on the left. It's not like he's a liability there. And look, I think Arsenal is looking at it like, we had to watch Martinelli all week. We couldn't get our striker involved. And I think what Eze is capable of as well is, man, he's such a good distributor. He's not one of those wingers that you just pass the ball to and you're going to get that goal or you're going to lose the ball. He is so good at carrying the ball and linking up plays. So I think they're going to try to keep getting the most they can out of Gyökeres because week one, bro, looked lost. Well, let's be honest. And, it can't just be Saka ball. This Saka is not good enough to just pass Saka the ball and he's going to win you a league trophy. Okay? Bro is not Eden Hazard. He's just not. Okay? Bro is not baby Ronaldo. Saka's a great player, but they need more. They definitely need more. And after watching week one, it was evident that they need more. They do. And it's crazy to say that because Arteta has now spent $1 billion in 5 seasons, I believe. We'll look at the stats. But look, Eze, 16 goals, 8 goals, 8 assists in a Prem last season. The season before that, 11 goals, 4 assists, 27 matches. The season before that, 38 matches, 10 goals, 4 assists. Knock on wood, the guy stays healthy, the guy produces, and he might be what you need. He might be just what you need. You take a look at what Martinelli has really ultimately done out on the left. Martinelli's market value is around the same as Eze. It really, he's a bit younger. He plays out on the left. Value-wise, guys, you can make the comparison. What Martinelli has done, I'll be honest, in the Premier League, guys, when I watch the guy play football, I'm like, is this guy serious? He has one good game, but for Arsenal to want to win a trophy or really make that next step in the UCL, I just don't know if Martinelli is the guy. Now, statistically, is he that far off of Eze? Not really. 181 matches played on the left, 40 goals, 26 assists. But look, you look at the 22-23 season, 15 goals, 6 assists. Since then, it's just not been the same. The season after, 6 goals, 4 assists. Last season, 8 and 4. It's just, you want to get more out of that left-sided player. So I can't fault Arsenal for making this play. I think Arsenal may have hit the panic button a little bit after watching week 1 and how their team looked. I just think when you take a look at that game versus United, what you were getting absolutely no link-up or hold-up play out of Gyökeres, no 1-2s. Zubamendi looked pretty good in terms of bringing in the new signing. The defense looked fine, but the attack just looked really bad. And now, reportedly, Havertz is going to be out for a little bit. Havertz apparently had a really good preseason for Arsenal, and now he's going to be out. So he got injured. So you do need to bring in more depth. You got to bring in more up there now because, yes, Eze and Havertz not necessarily playing. Well, you can make the argument in terms of the same position, but I just think that Arsenal are gonna need more. So ultimately, Eze chooses Arsenal over Spurs. And I think what you have to ask yourself now is that if Arsenal do not win a trophy this season, if Arteta does not get it done, look, this team is good. This team can win a trophy. For what they have spent, I mean, it's crazy. Look at this graphic right here. Largest spending manager since last winning major trophy, this summer included. Now, I think this is before they even signed Eze today. 1 billion. Bro, 1 billion. This is since the last major trophy they won. So I think this is going to be for me. I think the Arsenal fans have been really critical about Arteta over the last couple of seasons. I understand it. I do. Now, I still think I would die on this hill. I don't think Arsenal would have had a trophy with anybody else, and I don't think Arsenal would have gone as far with anybody else. But look, at some point, you have to draw the line, okay, and say, look, this guy's qualifying for all these competitions. This guy is getting this side, which is good enough to win a trophy. Okay, there's other managers I will not name that could probably get it done with this side. Okay, and he spent this much. If he does not get it done in this season, you really have to ask yourself the question. The problem with this, though, is that when you give a guy like Arteta, an Arsenal legend, you let him spend this much, it becomes one of those things, and we just heard Rashford talk about it, even though Arteta has definitely been given a couple seasons. What do you do if you don't get it this season? He spent all this money. He's bringing in this whole identity. Okay? He has created one of the better defensive sides I've seen in the last decade. Okay? What do you do if you don't win it this season? Okay? These are all his players he's bringing in. All his money he's spending. He's getting all the backing, and he doesn't do it this season. He falls short again. That's the question I have for you guys watching this video. What happens then? Do you bring in some other manager? I'm not always a huge fan of that. I'm just telling you, I think the perspective is that Arteta's probably got this season and maybe the start of next half season. The guy is spending so much money on different players. If he can't get it to work by the end of this season, I would really have to ask the question. I really would, guys, because the guy is bringing in a lot of players to make that next step. And if they can't get it done, we need to start asking the questions about what are the ways forward at Arsenal. And then, I think something really interesting. I pointed this out because this guy is a Palace fan. He says, if you remove emotion from the Eze deal, getting $67.5 million for a 27-year-old who has been an ever-present and transformational presence in our first team for 5 years, scoring pivotal goals and helping us win our first major trophy in history is superb business. We signed him for $16 million. He's grown with us, recovered from major setbacks, and matured into a player who you look for something special when the pressure is on. So, because the irony too is that I'm seeing all these Palace fans are now getting slammed because they're like, oh, you guys are just a feeding ground. You just develop the players and then the top 6 take them all. Yeah, I mean, that is a reality, guys. But look, I think that Palace have gotten that trophy, and Eze was a massive help with getting that trophy. And some players get to certain valuations that at some point you just got to let him go. I know. And it's like, if it was one of those things with Palace where Eze and Olise were committed to making his team into the top 6, they stayed. But once you lost Olise and you knew Eze at some point was going to leave, this guy has been linked in every transfer window. So in the end, Arsenal get Eze over Spurs. I think Eze probably decided at the end of the day that Arsenal was the best chance for him to go win more trophies is my guess. I know the comments are going to laugh at me, though, because Spurs just won the trophy, and Arsenal still haven't won this trophy with Arteta. So, but I'm just, that's my perspective. I think ultimately, I think Eze looks at it like, that's probably his best chance. My question mark, man, is as football fans, have we been robbed of watching Kudus and Eze ball, man? Oh, dude, I feel like it could have been so special at Spurs. That's just my opinion. And I'm not always raving about Spurs the most, but I think he would have been crazy there. So hopefully it works out for him at Arsenal. Hopefully he can help, produce trophies for them. Maybe he's the final. I mean, I don't know if I would ever, he's a player that is good. I don't know if I would ever hear myself saying a statement like Eze was the final unlock for the trophies for Arsenal. I don't know that will he be? Let's see. Let's see, guys. Let's see. I think he's definitely better than Martinelli. Let me say that much. Bye-bye.